Hello and a warm welcome to Federal's special program, Capital Beat. And today is a special day because after the high octane campaigns and elections in Jammu, Kashmir, and Haryana, it's time now for the exit polls. Though the exit polls were delayed a little, normally we used to see the figures around 6:15 or something, but then the figures have just started coming in. And according to the initial information which is coming, I'll just go one by one of whatever figures we have right now. I'll go to the Republic poll, which has been conducted for Haryana, which says that BJP is getting about 18 to 24 seats, Congress 55 to 62 seats, INLD 3 to 6, JJP about 3 seats, and others 2 to 5. That is what the projection for Haryana is. Now, from Haryana, we will move on to Jammu and Kashmir, the same poll which is done by Republic, and it says that BJP is getting 28 to 30 seats in J&K, Congress 3 to 6, NC 28 to 30, PDP 5 to 7, and others 8 to 16, which means others are getting about 8 to 16 seats. That's what Republic is saying. Now, this is about Jammu and Kashmir and Haryana as what has been conducted by Republic. Then we go to NDTV, and NDTV, only the Haryana bit has come as of now. Haryana NDTV has given 22 to 32 seats to BJP, Congress 50 to 64, AAP is 0, and others 2 to 8. So this was the research which was done by Dhruv Research. Then the People's Pulse on NDTV has given 22 to 32 seats to BJP, 49 to 61 to Congress, AAP 0, and others 3 to 5. So this is the figure which we are getting on NDTV. So let's get started. And as and when the figures keep coming, we'll put out the graphic plates for you because the figures are just trickling in. So let's go by what the initial picture says. Joining me now is Nadir Ali, who joins us from Jammu and Kashmir. He's from the Center for Peace and Development. Thank you so much, Nadir. We have a renowned farmer leader, Inderjeet Singh, who joins us from Haryana. Thank you, sir, so much for joining. We have Siddharth Sharma, who is a political analyst, joins us. Thank you so much, Siddharth. And we have a senior editor, Puneet Nicholas Yadav from the Federal. Thank you so much, Puneet, for joining. Puneet, I'll come to you first because if you can put things in perspective, the initial figures, let's go by what Haryana says. And Haryana figures on Republic, they say the BJP is getting about 18 to uh, yes, 18 to 24 seats. Congress is getting 55 to 62. Now, you've traveled to Haryana. What is the sense you are getting? And INLD getting 3 to 6 and JJP 3 seats. So, what is your sense? I mean, are these figures matching with what you found on the field when you were traveling? Yes.
Well, thanks, Neelu. I think we need to start with the rider that these are only exit polls, and they often get it wrong, badly wrong, if our Lok Sabha experience is anything to go by.
Yes.
But having said that, see, with regard to Haryana, I don't think there's anybody, including people in the BJP, maybe even the senior most leaders of the BJP, who thought that that they stood a chance to retain power in Haryana. The sense from the ground in Haryana was overwhelmingly against the BJP, and this is also an election where the Haryana, the elections in Haryana are largely bipolar because the other smaller regional parties, whether it's the INLD of one faction of the Chautala family or the JJP of the other faction of the Chautala family or the Aam Aadmi Party, these are players that have, it's a continuation of a trend that we've seen in recent years where, elections have tended to become bipolar of a BJP versus the dominant party that can vote the BJP out. And in case of Haryana, at the moment, that party is the Congress. And so the overwhelming support in Haryana was for the Congress. I would not want to give seat projections, but the general sentiment certainly was overwhelmingly in favor of the Congress. I was a little, taken aback by the voter turnout. I had hoped that there would be a much, you know, a much bigger turnout of the voters. At 5 o'clock, I believe it was at 61%,
61, yes.
which is lower compared to the previous elections. But given the resentment on the ground, given the the yearning for change that one saw, I would have thought more people would have come out to vote. So that a low voter turnout is interesting. One needs to see why people haven't, despite being very vocal in expressing their discontent against the current government. Why they haven't come out and voted, one will need to wait and see. And also its implications, particularly in constituencies which were headed for a very close fight. Uh, I mean, while I have said that the BJP was on a losing wicket, there were certainly constituencies where, primarily not because of the party, but because of the candidate, there were very close fights. So, a lower voter turnout makes those contests all the more interesting. But certainly, a ballpark figure, I would have expected the Congress to cross 50 comfortably in Haryana and the BJP to remain under 30. Uh, I wouldn't want to give any exact figures like exit pollsters normally do. Yeah.
True. Now, let me take a comment from Inderjeet
Yes,
ji.
yes. Please,
Inderjeet
because
ji,
I'm preoccupied, so I can make some comments. Yeah.
yes, yes, please. Now, the BJP is getting what Republic TV the survey is saying. BJP is getting 18 to 24 seats and Congress 55 to 62. Now, are these realistic figures or they are below the mark what you had expected? What is your feeling?
No, if that is the figure given by Republic, then it can be understood that they are much below that. Uh, thing is that basically the BJP this time did not make any claim regarding the number of seats they would be getting. Like last time they said it will be 75 par, ab ki bar 75 par, cross 75, and they got only 40, less than simple majority. This time they were very reluctant even to claim that they will be making a hat trick this time. Even that kind of claim they did not make with full confidence. And they were knowing fully well. I told you that initially they were defensive, then they were disappointed, and now they will be disappearing from the scene.
But
And
Ji,
the figures were
I have
generally the fig.
Indrajit, I want to
Hmm.
ask you, there were many people who were saying that BJP will get less than 10 seats. I came across many political
Uh,
analysts who said the BJP might get less than 10 or 10 seats. Now, if this is the
Niluji,
figure, just hear me
let
out.
me.
Just hear
Yeah,
me
yeah.
out. Hear me out. If Republic is saying the BJP is getting 18 to 24, which means that despite all the resentment, despite the heavy anti-incumbency, that doesn't seem to be like a very poor performance. If they are winning 18
Actually,
to 24, yes.
with more certainty, I can say that the number of seats the BJP will ultimately be getting will be in such a position that they shall be left with no manipulation to be made, which they are quite quite notorious for. So no such figure they are going to have this time, which they last time were able to do. Thirdly, I'm saying that the perhaps the percentage of vote is likely to increase when the total figure comes out. Maybe it is 65 plus likely to till tomorrow morning. And I was preoccupied with the people who have returned from their respective polling booths, because I was working for one of our farmers leader, Comrade Om Prakash, who is contesting from Bhiwani. And those who have returned from, and this is basically, more than 65 is urban, 65%, 40% is rural side. Bhiwani district as a whole plus Dadri district, I can say that the BJP is going to be wiped out here. This and I agree with one of my friends who just said that it was a complete polarization, and the third force, maybe at certain places triangular contest took place and some independents may come, likely to come. So I can say that Congress is comfortably going to form a government, and it will be a big setback to the BJP, not only in Haryana, but Modi governments will also be shaken by this,
Yeah.
because
All
that is
right.
already on the crutches,
We'll
you know.
later. Andajiji, we'll come to that a little later. But I have one quick question for Puneet, and then I'll go to Nadir when we start
Now,
discussing
one thing
Jammu.
is that, according to me, the figures of BJP getting around 20 and the Congress getting 60 plus, for me sounds quite realistic.
Okay, so you find
Yeah.
these figures realistic, but Puneet,
And
I
now I
wanted to.
want to take leave of you, Nilu, please, because
Okay.
yeah, so
I
nice. Thank
understand.
you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
sir. Okay, Puneet, I had one quick question for you on INLD and JJP. Now, INLD is projected to get about 3 to 6 seats, and JJP is winning, getting 3 seats. Now, is this the number they are really going to achieve? What does it look on the ground? Because people were saying that INLD is also not performing too well. JJP is actually nowhere. What did you sense on the ground according to the figures which we see right now coming out of the exit polls?
Well, Neelu, I think, if you take a long-term view of Haryana's politics, I would personally be more interested in how the two Chautala parties perform than how the Congress or the BJP perform in Haryana. For the simple reason that, one, as far as the JJP is concerned, I would personally be very, very surprised if the JJP is able to win any seats. Uh, you know, and so as far as INLD is concerned, again, I would say that in terms of seats that they are winning, their prospects of victory were limited to, a handful of seats, a victory or a close fight, or whichever way you want to look at it. So maybe 2 to 3 or 4 seats, not more than that. What I would personally be interested in seeing is what kind of vote share the INLD and the JJP poll respectively. Uh, you see, Dushyant Chautala came with a lot of promise 5 years ago. And a lot of people wrote about how he has kind of taken the place of, the true torchbearer of the Chautala legacy, you know. But in the 5 years, because of his association with the BJP, because of his refusal to take firm stands against the government that he was a part of, and withdraw himself from that government earlier than he eventually did, he is going to face a huge crisis of credibility within his own electorate. Uh, you know, and see, his is predominantly a Jat party and a party for farmers. Both these flanks, Jats and farmers, were extremely angry with the BJP for reasons that have been extensively talked about, over the last several years, in fact. Uh, and he had more than one occasion to put his foot down and say that he's withdrawing from the government. He doesn't stand with the government on this, but he did not. He waited till January of this year, and I think that has really cost him very, very dearly. And the obvious advantage for that is that the other faction, the INLD, I would personally watch out for what the INLD does from here on to rebuild itself. It would make a huge blunder if it goes back to its old ties, to revive its old ties with the BJP. I think this is an election in which the INLD should have learned that, one, of course, the BJP was never a very reliable ally to begin with, but more importantly, forward looking, it needs to stand on its own and rebuild its cadres.
Okay, now let me shift my gear to Jammu and Kashmir and the figures which are coming out. Let me just pull it out for you. And Nadir, I'll come to you now on the Jammu Kashmir bit. As the same, I'll go to the what Republic has said. Now, Republic on Jammu Kashmir has given BJP 28 to 30 seats, Congress 3 to 6, and National Conference 28 to 30, PDP 5 to 7, and others 8 to 16. That's quite a number, what we had what we had thought of. Now, one quick comment from Nadir, and then again I'll come back to Puneet because Puneet was traveling to Kashmir. So, Nadir, what do you feel about these figures? BJP,
Can you tell me the which what are the numbers they have given to BJP?
BJP 28 to 30 seats, according to what Republic TV is saying. Congress 3 to 6. National Conference 28 to 30. PDP 5 to 7, and others is 8 to 16. Yes.
I thought after the parliament elections, Republic must have learned something. But their hubristic attitude will let them down this time also. I am a Kashmiri, and I know Kashmir better than Republic television. People here gave mandate to India Alliance. They voted against BJP across. I can bet you BJP will not repeat 2014 this time, assembly election 2014 this time also. They are in low numbers, but as far as TRPs are concerned, as far as these other issues are concerned with regarding televisions, I don't believe these numbers are correct. Let me tell you our numbers, which I have. NC will get around 35 seats. Congress will get around 10 to 13 seats. And I am sure that India Alliance will make the government in JNK. It's crystal clear. There's no doubt about it.
Okay,
Yes,
but what do you feel about the others? What do you feel about the others? Because there are a lot of
let, let,
independents who've been
let me
backed by.
tell you. Yeah, let
Yes.
me tell you. I will tell you one thing, crystal clear thing. If you, I don't know whether you have seen Farooq Abdullah's interview today or not. He has said anyone who
I
will
saw that.
stand for BJP, he will be did that. He will be buried in Kashmir. This is you have to respect the people's mandate. The point is, I don't think so many independents are going to win. They are giving 16 seats to independents. I don't think so that's possible in JNK this at this time.
All right. I'll come back to Puneet and then I'll come to Siddharth on both the states together. Puneet, what is your feeling about Jammu Kashmir? You've just come back. And I really want to ask you on the role of the others, 8 to 16, where you have Engineer Rashid, a lot of independents who've been backed by Jamaat this time. So, who do you think is going to form the government if we go by the figures of what Republic is saying, that BJP winning about 28 to 30 seats and Congress winning just 3 to 6 and National Conference 28 to 30. So people have been saying that there could be a possibility the National Conference joins hands with BJP and they form the government. Though Farooq Abdullah completely denied that, and today also he said that we are not in any way going with BJP at all. So what do you see, happening in Jammu Kashmir with these figures as of now?
See, I don't put a lot of stock to these figures, but what I can tell you is my own personal assessment of JNK based on my traveling across the state, both in the Kashmir as well as the Jammu divisions. And, it's also a state that I visit rather frequently. So I do have a certain sense of the political leanings that this election might bring about. I partially disagree with our panelist Nadirji's assessment. I do not think that in Jammu the BJP will perform very poorly. Uh, but again, that's not because of the BJP. It's because of the Congress. I think the Congress sort of threw away this election as far as Jammu is concerned. Uh, the party in its seat sharing agreement with the National Conference had 31 odd seats that they were contesting, out of which 28 and then of course I'm not counting the friendly contests on 5 seats, because there were a few seats from the valley also, but predominantly Jammu was a BJP versus Congress contest. Now, Kashmir, I'll touch upon a little later, but Jammu is a little more important in my view because of the BJP stakes there. See, one, the Congress messed up its ticket distribution. There were several constituencies where they had better choices. They did not go with them for whatever pressures. I don't want to, attribute motivations to their state leadership, but there were instances where winning candidates were denied tickets or were shifted to other constituencies. Okay, or their constituencies were kind of interchanged with somebody else. Uh, that was one. Secondly, see, in Jammu, there was immense resentment against the BJP on the ground, immense anger against the BJP. But I think the Congress's campaign did not cash on that resentment to the extent it should have. Its campaign never really took off. There were, like, for instance, of course, two of the main things in the Congress's campaign, which rightly so were highlighted by Rahul and Congress President Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge and downwards by all the leaders, which were statehood and unemployment, which is all right. I have nothing against it. Those were very valid concerns across the state, the union territory, sorry. Uh, But then, in Jammu, if you go constituency wise, there were very, very specific issues that people wanted addressed. And, uh, you know, whether it was the issue of the absolutely crumbling civic infrastructure of Jammu, the Congress campaign did not mention it anywhere. The issue of smart meters, the Congress campaign was completely silent, barring a few candidates who spoke about it. Smart meters across, not just in Jammu, but even in Kashmir, was a major, major issue. But then Kashmir, the issue matrix was very different. So I'm limiting this to Jammu. The issue of water supply, canals drying up, all of that, a major issue. The issue of drugs, chitta, huge issue. None of these were addressed in the Congress's campaign adequately. Stray comments here and there, fine. Then, see, Jammu, there was also, like you have in Kashmir, an issue of identity. In Jammu, again, there is an issue of identity. You've got the issue of the Hindu identity versus the Muslims. You've got the issue of the Dogra identity. You've got all of that. Those were things that the BJP really cashed in on. And I think eventually their campaign picked up. When I had gone to Jammu, I had also gone with the impression that I had of Jammu when I last visited it 4 months ago, when I thought that, oh, Jammu is going to be a whitewash for the, a completely, wipe out for the BJP. But then I was personally very surprised to see that the BJP was on the rebound in the Jammu region. As far as Kashmir is concerned, now I'm assuming that when Republic says 16 to 18 independents, I'm assuming that that independent figure is basically a large chunk of it. They are counting AIP candidates. Now,
Right.
my personal assessment of having traveled extensively in North Kashmir, which was the area where the AIP should have done well, is that the AIP would find it very difficult to even win, a handful of seats. That is my assessment. I think the National Conference is very well poised in the Kashmir Valley. In certain areas, a bit too well poised to the detriment of the Congress, because it's the National Conference's rebels who are defeating the Congress's candidate.
Yes.
Okay. And
But do you by
also,
any chance, Puneet, do you by any chance feel that there could be a fractured mandate also? Because many people also said that, you never know. Jammu Kashmir could be headed for a fractured mandate.
I would say, the possibility of a fractured mandate, perhaps, but not a fractured mandate that will actually make it difficult for the National Conference and the Congress to form a government.
Okay.
If at all they are short of numbers, they'll be short by 3 or 4 legislators, or maybe at the most outside figure 5 seats, not more than that. And see, you have to understand that JNK, from 1999 onwards, ever since Mufti Muhammad Saeed formed the PDP, has always had a fractured mandate. So there's nothing new in a fractured mandate for JNK. every party in the valley has had to ally with the Congress until eventually the PDP allied with the BJP and dug its own graves. But the fractured mandate is a reality in Kashmir. It cannot be denied. You have a different kind of a voter sentiment in North Kashmir, different in Central, different in South. All these vote differently. I do not personally believe that the PDP also, which a lot of people were initially thinking is not going to score anything in this election. I personally think that the PDP might win a few seats. It might surprise a lot of political commentators in a few constituencies. Uh, and see, after their experience of the last 5 years, I think if at all there is a situation that the National Conference and the Congress are a few seats short of a clear majority, the PDP will have no option but to offer it on their own to extend outside support, as well as the National Conference's own rebels who have contested. I know at least a couple of them who I'm fairly confident are going to win, will eventually come back to the National Conference's fold and support the government. So I don't see the National Conference and the Congress having a problem informing the government. The problems will come in later.
Okay, okay. Yes, Nadir, you were raising
Yeah.
your hand, and then I'll put out the graphic plate for the viewers. Yes, Nadir,
Just
you want
want,
to
just
say
want to
something?
tell Puniji, I completely thoroughly agree with him. But as far as Congress is concerned in Jammu, he is absolutely right. They didn't do that much of exercises what should they have been done. But there is some kind of the hope that the youth of Jammu and Kashmir are looking after, and they believe in that hope in Rahul Gandhi. I think that
I agree.
one thing is clear there.
I agree. In fact, Siddharth, I'm
Yes,
so sorry I'm taking a bit of your
That's
time,
okay. That's
but
okay. I'm still
no,
here.
go ahead. This I'll
one
put out.
quick point. This is one election, which I personally believe this is one election where, if you traveled from Bandipur in North Kashmir to Jammu, you would find people talking of Rahul Gandhi as their hope. And I
Absolutely right.
think
Absolutely right.
personally, had the Congress actually got its act together after Bharat Jodo Yatra and
They would have
focused
done better.
on rebuilding itself for 2 years in JNK and then told the National Conference that forget it, we're not going to get into an alliance. We will face this election solo. Had they invested these past 2 years in rebuilding the party, they would have done stupendously well in JNK. I think it was a major, case of squandering the chance of their revival in JNK post the Bharat Jodo Yatra. In fact, in Kashmir, in pockets of North Kashmir, I came across youngsters, and unfortunately, since the state has not had an election for the last 10 years, even a 27, even, a 32, 33, 34-year old in Kashmir is a first time voter. Uh,
Absolutely.
you know, so I came across several of these people who talked about not Congress ka vote, but Rahul Gandhi ka vote, and said that Rahul Gandhi's vote will go to the Congress. Whether the candidate can bring his own vote is a
Yeah,
question mark. But
absolutely.
the Congress candidate will get Rahul Gandhi ka vote, which I think was a very major difference in this election than previous
That,
elections I've seen in JNK.
that's a
30
significant
seconds, maybe 30
observation.
seconds.
Yes, Nadir,
Just,
very
just,
quickly.
just, I want to add one point, to Puniji. I have seen in downtown area, it's a heart, in the heart of the city, downtown area. I haven't seen people who have never voted in 30 years. This time they have voted for alliance only because of Rahul Gandhi.
No,
This is
that's
something very
yeah.
important.
Right. All right. Now I want to put out the graphic plate and then go to Siddharth on both states. Now here is the graphic plate for you. The Haryana exit polls, the matter is Republic. It says BJP winning 18 to 24, Congress 55 to 62, JJP 0 to 3, INLD and BSP alliance 3 to 6, and others 2 to 5. 90 member assembly seat. Now the Dhruv research has given 22 to 32 seats to BJP, 50 to 64 to Congress, JJP 0, even the INLD and BSP don't open their account, and others 2 to 8. And People's Pulse has given 20 to 32 seats to BJP, Congress 49 to 61, JJP 0 to 1, INLD BSP 2 to 3, and others 3 to 5. Now, Nisha is there at the backstage. I would request you to keep this graphic plate on the screen so that the viewers can see, and then we can continue the discussion. Siddharth, coming to you now. Now, look at the graphic plate, and I really want to understand what is the sense you get out of these figures which are coming out from the exit polls. Siddharth, over to you, both on Haryana and Kashmir.
Yeah, Neelu, one thing as it's very clear now that there seems to be a continuum in India after the recently held Lok Sabha elections. They have clearly displayed that there are two narratives at play in India today. Uh, the narrative is what is a government supposed to do? Now, there is a BJP ecosystem and a BJP model which says that power means punishment. We have to punish the wrongdoers. Now, whoever that those wrongdoers are, whether they are real wrongdoers or you create a villain out of something, that's secondary. But there is a huge, good ecosystem, BJP ecosystem and a BJP model which narrates the story that power is punishment. Then there is a non-BJP model which says that power means a government has to become a service provider. I think that is the main narrative between which the Lok Sabha elections happened. And obviously, for the last 10 years, BJP has been going with this tendency that power means punishment. That is why they pick and choose their villains and send them into some kind of punishment. Maybe sometime they cancel out Mahua Maitra's member of parliamentship, then sometime they cancel out Rahul Gandhi's parliament membership, then they send Mr. Hemant Soren to jail, then sometimes they send Arvind Kejriwal to jail, then they start harassing Mr. Sidramaya, then they take some minister from Tamil Nadu. So basically the BJP model is to punish people. But the Lok Sabha elections clearly said that the people are fed up with this last 10 years model of BJP and they want a service provider. Now it becomes very clear that whoever people feel is powerful enough or strong enough to defeat BJP in their area, in their constituency, they are going to vote for that. It will be interesting to see out of these graphics because these graphics are showing only the seats. No graphic right now is showing any vote share. I was just trying to
Yeah,
find it
so
out on.
the details are still trickling in. So we managed to pull out, whatever details we had as of now. And I would just interrupt you for a few seconds because I want to play
Yeah,
out the graphic plate for Jammu Kashmir as well. So Nisha, if you could play out. So here is the plate on Jammu and Kashmir. Dainik Bhaskar has given BJP 20 to 25 seats, National Conference 35 to 40 seats, PDP 4 to 7, and others 12 to 16. Now let's talk about People's Pulse. For Jammu and Kashmir, they've given 23 to 27 seats to BJP, National Conference 46 to 50, and PDP 7 to 11, and others 4 to 6. Gulistan News, along with Republic, has given 40 to BJP, National Conference 31 to 36, PDP 5 to 7, and others 8 to 16. Now, looking at these figures, again, Siddharth, coming to you now, what is your feeling about Jammu and Kashmir if you look at these figures? And People's Pulse giving 46 to 50 seats to National Conference. That's phenomenal.
yeah. One thing is clear that be it Haryana or be it Jammu Kashmir, it is now very clear that these exit polls are showing that BJP is not coming into a majority. But still, there is BJP is not getting wiped out. That means that there is a section of people in India today. Maybe they are 25%, maybe 30%. That's why I was wondering what the vote share is because one of the Twitter handles I was following, somebody who did a exit poll, they had come out with certain vote share numbers. In Haryana, they were saying that BJP is going to get around 38% vote share. Last time in the last assembly elections in Haryana in 2019, BJP had got around 38% vote share. So the vote share of BJP has not fallen down as much if the exit polls are true. But obviously the seat share is falling down. That also means that there is a substantial portion of India today, around 30% at least, give or take a few percent this side or that side, that they buy into this narrative of BJP that power means punishment. But there is a bigger substantial chunk that is nearly two-thirds of India that has gotten fed up with this BJP's narrative of power being punishing a few people. Rather, people see power as service providing to a large number of people. And that is what has that's where I say there seems to be a continuum from the Lok Sabha elections, and the BJP's graph is consistently going down as far as seat share is concerned. Obviously, the vote share has not fallen down to the extent that the seat share has fallen down. Even in the Lok Sabha elections, the BJP, although it lost uh, what do you say, nearly 65-70 seats compared to last year, but compared to last elections, but its vote share fell down only 2%. So there are certain cases in which the united opposition also eats into the BJP's votes. But it's now very clear that India is going through a very clear-cut narrative change. There is a clear-cut two narratives in India today. One is the BJP narrative, which says that power is equal to punishment. There is a non-BJP narrative, which says that power is equal to providing service. And people are choosing between the two. And in BJP and all the voters who feel that power means service provider, they know that to defeat BJP, they have to vote to the strongest candidate in their constituency or in that state, and that is how this voting seems to be happening.
Now, so let's get the concluding comments now from Puneet, Nadir, and then again Siddharth. Very brief comments, and then we'll end the program. Puneet, to you on both the states. So, are we seeing a BJP wipeout, or it's not the case, of course, in Jammu and Kashmir, but Haryana, yes, Congress seems to be getting an overwhelming majority. Puneet.
Well, certainly, again, with the rider that these are only exit polls, but yeah, Haryana certainly seems headed for a Congress government. And J&K, in my own assessment, of course, and of course, as per these figures too, headed for alliance government of the National Conference and the Congress, plus maybe some, PDP outside support or independence or whatever. But not a very bad showing for the BJP, I would say, if it manages to get 22, 23 or 24 seats in Jammu. I think they had given up on Kashmir even before the elections, which is why they didn't field most candidates there. And I think all their energy was focused on somehow retaining Jammu. If they are able to retain, see, last time they had 25 seats out of the 35 that were there in the Jammu division. Post delimitation from 35, the figures in Jammu went up to 43. If the BJP, ideally the BJP would have hoped that after its complete control over J&K for the last 10 years, at least 5 years, and 10 years in a sense in the alliance, they would have hoped for more gains. But even if they don't have more gains, but are able to hold on to what they had, I would still say that the BJP hasn't performed very poorly, and the Congress really needs to get its act together as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. I would go to the extent of saying that heads need to roll in the J&K Congress. People who misled the central leadership, whether it was with regard to the alliance, the prospects of the alliance, or the necessity of an alliance rather, or in terms of the seat distribution, the ticket distribution, they need to be held to to account. But in both these cases, I see another 3 days we'll know the results, the actual ones.
Yeah. All right.
What in both these cases, I think what will be more important is what happens after the governments are formed. The reasons are very clear. In J&K, you have a completely emasculated assembly because it's a union territory. The powers have been taken away to a great extent of the assembly and the elected government. And so you'll see a Delhi-like, situation. In Haryana, the Congress will be back. Will it be back to its internal, problems, Shelja, Huda, and
Right.
the rest? I think that will be more interesting to look at.
All right. Nadir, coming to you now, very briefly, what would you say to these exit poll results? Very briefly.
Better to wait for 8th. I think India Alliance come out with the majority. I believe so.
Okay. Okay. I think that is the safest comment, to wait for 8th and see, and with the hope that India Alliance will form the government. All right.
I'm 110% sure. I can
All
bet
right.
on India Alliance will make the government in J&K.
All right. All right. Yes, Siddharth, over to you.
I think if these exit polls hold true, that these will be giving sleepless nights to Prime Minister Modi and Mr. Amit Shah, because obviously after the trend that is going on, especially within the RSS also, and many people outside RSS uh, putting up a bogey on the Prime Minister that at 75 you have to, according to your own rules, take retirement. I think that will get speeded up after these results, if these results hold true as per the exit polls.
Okay, so Haryana election is over today, and now we are all waiting for what happens on 8th. So please stay tuned to the federal, and we'll have morning and evening lives. And so please stay tuned to the federal. Thank you so much, Nadir Ali, Puneet, Siddharth. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you.
Thank you.